didn't see you there. Welcome to this week's episode of Grease the Garage Dirty Daily Drivers. Today, we're going to be working on this 1985 GMC C2500. We're going to change the oil in it, and I'm going to take you guys along for the ride. Let's go. When changing the oil, especially in an older vehicle, we want to take the car out for a little bit of a ride to let the oil warm up so it'll come out of the vehicle a little bit easier when we go to drain it. So come with me, we're going to go pick up the oil and filter and then drive back, and that should be enough of a trip here to warm the oil up to make it flow nicely. Okay, just before we dive into it, let's go over the tools and equipment we're going to need to complete this task. We're going to need a rag, some paper towel for cleanup after, it makes it a lot easier. Funnel, it's not a necessity, but it's going to make your life a lot easier to pour the oil into the engine. Filter of the right specification and size. Engine oil of the right viscosity and volume. A catch basin to catch the old oil so we don't just dump it straight on the ground. You know, one planet. And some wrenches. We'll need a wrench that matches the drain plug size in the bottom of the engine. And that's about it. It's one of the simplest jobs anybody can do at home, and it helps preserve the life of their engine. Okay, first thing to do, pop the hood, and we're going to open the engine oil filler so we can get a little bit of air going through so it doesn't create a vacuum for when we're trying to drain the oil out on the bottom. Come in here. And we'll open this guy up. Stop, hold up. Pro tip here. Before you start the oil change, make sure you put away any clothing that you do not want to have ruined by oil or grease. Okay, that's better. Let's go. Okay, now that we're under the truck here, we're going to position the catch basin right underneath the oil pan, in line with the drain plug bolt, which I'm going to use a wrench, which happens to be a 9/16 on this particular truck, to undo. While you're doing this, you want to be kind of careful because you don't want to burn yourself with the hot engine oil, nor do you want to spill it all over yourself and the ground. Start backing it off until it gets to a point where it's nice and loose, and then remove it quickly into the catch basin. While this engine oil is draining, put this drain plug aside in a safe place so you don't lose it. And now locate where your oil filter is located so we can remove it safely and have it drain into the pan as well. Bonus tool time. If your oil filter is really stubborn and you can't get it off by hand, you will need a strap wrench or similar oil filter wrench. Okay, we're going to undo this filter here. It should be just hand tight. I'm going to move this basin just to make sure we don't spill any, and then nice and slowly unthread this filter. Ooh, there goes the oil. Nice and greasy and gross. Okay, just about off. And we are now ready to clean this up with the rags and get the new filter and put the drain plug back in. Okay, before we install the new filter into the truck, what we're going to do is prime it with a little bit of oil, which means we're going to fill it about 2/3 of the way full and dip our finger in there, get a little bit of oil on the seal, and then we'll be ready to install it into the truck. While you're doing this, be very careful that you don't spill it all over the place, because it is a little bit messy. Take our finger here, Just move it around the edge there. And if you have a look inside, you can see there just a little bit of oil floating around inside there. Okay, this filter's primed and ready to be put back into the vehicle. Okay, I'm just going to clean some of the oil here off the exhaust pipe so we don't get that beautiful burning smell. And I'm just going to clean up the surface here a little bit where the oil comes into the filter. While I'm doing that, one thing really important to check for is to make sure that the rubber seal from the old filter didn't get stuck on the engine block. That could be a disaster. Alright, we are ready to install the filter. Okay, engine filter, oil filter here goes right back up in its home, and I will thread it in place. 2, 3. Now what we're going to do here is go nice and tight. Get as tight as you can with your hands. Don't want to use a wrench or anything. These are always meant to be hand tight at best. Okay, we're going to put the drain plug back in now, and that'll be it for underneath. Here's that drain plug we put aside for safekeeping. We're going to thread her in nice and neat. Get her about finger tight. And we're going to throw our wrench back onto it. And one more important thing you want to do while you're tightening this guy is you don't want to over tighten it. If you strip these threads, you're going to have to get it bored out or get a whole new oil pan, and that is a brutal pain in the butt. So that is good enough there, and we're good to go up top now and start filling her up. Okay, we'll take our funnel, because we have one, put it into the filler hole here, and I guarantee you this is going to make our life a whole world easier. Get our engine oil, and we're going to start filling her up. And as you can see, I spilled her everywhere anyways, but she's an old truck, and all it does is help de-rust. Pro tip. A really good practice to get into so you don't overfill the engine, which could blow out a bunch of seals and cause a whole world of mess for you, is to stop just before you finish putting in what you figure is the right amount of oil. Double check it on the dipstick, and then we will proceed from there. Okay, pull her out, give her a quick wipe like we learned in our first video, throw her back in, pull it up, and let's check this level. Okay, so it says here we are above the add line but below the full line. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit more, and then I'll show you the next step we got to take. Okay, first thing we got to do is we're going to put the lid back on the oil filler. That way we won't spill any or have any cook off while we're trying to start it. And what we're going to do is get inside the truck. We're going to fire it up and keep it at about 2,000 RPM for about 5-10 seconds, just to let that engine oil circulate, and then we'll check the volume level again. Okay, so we're in the cab of the truck. It's an 85, so we're going to find the square key, fire in, and fire it up. Put it in neutral so she doesn't start driving away on us. While we keep our foot on the brake, what we are going to do is apply a little bit of gas to it, get these RPMs up to about 2K, and hold it there for about 5-10 seconds. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The most boring footage you'll ever see in your whole life, but that's how you keep the engine ready to go. Now that we've done that, we'll let her naturally come down and check the engine oil here again. I'm just going to let her warm up a second, and I'll see you guys under the hood in a couple minutes. Okay, so wipe her off quick, just so we don't get a bad reading. Put her back in, pull her out, come in here and have a look. Right now, as you can see, after running it for a little bit, we are sitting at right at the add line. So we're going to finish topping off the rest of the oil, and then she will be good to go. Okay, so now that we got this all squared away, what we're going to do is come around the front of the truck, and we are going to do a little bit of cleanup on our old engine oil, just so we don't end up stepping in it and creating a huge mess. Okay, getting rid of the old filter here. A little pro tip for disposal. Take some blue towel or rag, stick it in the bottom of the old filter box here. Kind of like an Art Attack Arts and Crafts here, making a little nest. Grab that filter, shake out some of that old oil there, whatever's sitting in it. Give her a little wipe, take that rag, stick it in the box, and then it can be stowed aside in a plastic container until you get down to the eco station to get rid of her. For stowing the old engine oil before you take her to the eco station there, best thing to use is the old container. Get her on a fairly flat level ground so she doesn't spill on you. And if you have a nice catch basin with the spout, just pour it off into the bottle there. Try not to spill all over your driveway. And yeah, cap her off and then stow her until you get down to the disposal center. Bonus is if she does spill all over your driveway, this area is pretty well going to be weeds free for the rest of your life. Okay. Only thing left to do is clean up our area, clean up our tools, and then go and get a Timmy's coffee. Oh hey, you're still here. Well, just before we go today and go and get our coffee, just wanted to say thanks for tuning in to the newest episode of Grease the Garage, Dirty Daily Drivers. It's been a lot of fun to make, and hopefully you learned something from it. Y'all drive safe and have a good day. None of the products featured in today's video are in fact sponsors of this channel. Yet. Hint hint. Pick up the phone. I'm always home. Hold up. Pro tip here. Before you start the oil change, make sure you put any clothing you do not want.
Good job. Good take. What are you doing?
Well, sometimes the gas gauge doesn't quite read, so you gotta give her a little tap and then she pops back in place. She's pure mid, bro.
Sounds safe.
Oh yeah, 100%. Oh hey, you're still here. Well, I just wanted to say thank you for tuning in for another exciting episode of Grease the Garage, Dirty Daily Drivers. This one was a 85 GMC C2500 edition. I hope you can take some education away from these videos, and if not, know that I have no idea what I'm going to say next, and this is really an awesome outro.